Hey there, YouTube friends. maskedbandit here. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Always do appreciate it. Welcome back to Uzuri Gardens, and that means hello, Jonty.
Hello.
How are you today?
All right, this is weird. What, like 3 episodes of Uzuri in a week?
I know. Well,
Maybe
you challenged me. You said, hey, if you can, let's try and get a recording done this weekend. And so I did okay. And so we did. Yeah. The creativity came back. The inspiration came back all of a sudden, just wham. So it was really good. I'm excited. So, yeah.
So what are we doing?
Well, there you go. We have a transfer track here. We talked about it. This is a bit different than what it has been. Asked some people on Bro Nation. And this is based off of Millennium Force's transfer track, where they have one little piece that slides, and all their trains stack on one coaster tray, one track.
Right. So it looks like they kind of back up onto it, do they? Like they go in front of it, and then the piece moves across.
The track, we'll look at it in real time. It'll be easier to see. But that one little piece moves, and then the coaster would just slide into the station.
Right.
And so, yeah. But the issue is, you would have, they'd have to back it on, wouldn't they? Yeah. But you'd have 2 or 3 you'd have both trains on one piece of track. So that piece of track is actually big enough to host both of the cars. So,
right. Okay.
And I thought a concrete pad would be good here. This is hard though because it's so close to this new area. Like, we're gonna have to find a way to make this look good.
It
looks official. Yeah, it looks functional, but it doesn't look nice. But
right. Yeah,
I don't know if it should or shouldn't. I don't know. So.
Yeah, I think in most parks it probably would be fine, but I mean we've really tried to highly theme Uzuri, right? So we may have to.
And at the very least,
deal with that.
I'm finding, like, this episode, I've really gone heavy into foliage.
Oh, okay.
And even more so, there you go, even more so than normal. And I think a lot of it is rubbed off from zoo. And just looking at a lot of zoos and just how much tree cover there is and how much that does for a park. How much
it's everywhere, right?
And it just makes it feel so much more complete. So it wasn't being lazy when it comes to spamming giant trees. It really did, I think, make the park feel so much more complete and grounded.
Oh, you even went in there and did some as well.
I did. I decided to try and thicken up your forest a little bit. I tried to leave as much of the coaster area untouched as possible because I know that's probably what you're going to want to tackle in the next episode. So, and then we jump over. We're all over the map today. So we're
getting towards the end. There's going to be a lot of this kind of finishing, right?
Yep. One of the things we didn't have that I thought would be good is this little enrichment item that's here at the Houston Zoo, and it's a log that they can push around, and it's like on a tether or like on a chain or something. So so they can just push it around. And what I'm doing here is to actually get a decent radius for the terrain, so it actually looks like a circle.
Okay.
And I delete all of them except for one. So there you go. That's that.
Oh, I see. So that one there would like roll around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can push it around. Yeah, that's something we have at our zoo. And rather than try and get fancy with it, I just made more fencing and gave them a larger habitat. I figured that's not going to hurt the elephants. More room is always better.
Yeah, definitely. And I like what you do here with that sort of double fencing. I've noticed that a lot when I've been looking at zoos.
Mm-hmm.
Really, other than like the really sort of non-aggressive animals, pretty much all of them have that double fencing, at least for a good chunk of
the fencing for the animal, and then some plants, and then the fencing for the people. Yeah. And that's something that that seems to work. So that's what we did. And then I was really I've always been disappointed in the house for the elephants. Mm-hmm. It's not big enough to house all the elephants at night. Yeah. So I tried. I know you mentioned off the cuff in the last episode that front of the house are fairly realistic, and I want to do a little bit more for this one. At least give the idea of a sizable house in the back that the elephants would spend the night in or something. So it's really just a box, but it's go-away green, and it's got some, it looks like it would be tall enough that they wouldn't mess around. We got some gates here that you could move, that would slide in and out to let the elephants go into there at night and then into their daytime habitat.
I've been watching couple of series on Netflix of zoos, like these kind of documentary style things, and they're mostly Irish zoos for some reason. There's a Dublin Zoo and a Belfast Zoo, I think is the other one. No, hold on, I'm going to be really showing awful UK geography now. I don't think Belfast is in Ireland. I think Belfast is in Wales. I have no idea. But anyway, these two zoos.
Isn't that Northern Ireland?
Oh, maybe it's Northern Ireland. That's where I'm getting mixed up. Yeah, I think one's Northern Ireland, one's Southern Ireland. Yeah, yes, it is Northern Ireland, Belfast, of course. Sorry. Yeah, so not. And they have shown they show a lot of the elephant stuff there, and they really are. They're big concrete boxes with lots of like metal, fencing and yeah. There's just not much going on in them at all, and it's because all elephants do is shit. Like they just have to constantly scrub it off and wash it down. And stuff,
at our zoo every morning first thing in the morning you can go watch the elephants get the shit scrubbed off of them for the day.
There you go. Yeah, that's it. So they just have to be serviceable and clean and perfect for.
They need to be utilitarian in that regard. Yeah. And then here we're working on a photo op, rather than a full-blown gift shop, a photo shop for tamaa.
Oh, right. And this was so on Ride Photo things, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on Ride Photo. So this was interesting because it's so close to this new area that I didn't want to be too hardcore with the African theme.
Ah, okay.
But so at the same time, I didn't...
like in between, yeah?
Yeah, it's very... It still feels African, but it's not like the market. And what I try to do to incorporate it is use the same colors as tamaa. So I stole some of the colors of some of the train and of the track to kind of make it feel like it ties in better to the actual ride. So, and I'm really loving these crypt roofs. That's what those are. They're from Spooky.
Right, okay, yeah.
Those are the only pieces we have, but I really like them. I use them on the elephant exhibit, and I think they work really well in just sort of a generic roof style.
Well, they kind of look like sheet metal almost, right? They kind of look a little bit like that corrugated metal that you see a lot of. Exactly.
And so here, just I didn't want to go all out because I didn't want to. It's awful to say, but I didn't want to spend the time. It's so bad to say, but I wanted to give the idea that this is a functioning shop, and so we had to put some counters in, and you can assume all the printing equipment is under there, and yada. So it's basically just enough to sell the. Oh, and look, I'm using somebody's.
Hey, that looks good, doesn't it? Tills. Nice
to
use the word till as well.
I know.
So that's one of the weird words that I've struggled with over here. Till. Like one of the words I've struggled to use the Americanism.
Oh, really?
For some reason, I really struggle to remember cash register, and I really struggle to remember cart, like a shopping cart. I keep calling it a trolley, which is what we call it in the UK. Yeah. Okay. Those two, and those two I, for some reason, really struggle with. Yeah, and I always keep forgetting to call it a cash register. Not that it really matters too much. Most people know what you're talking about, but I kind of want Xander to learn the North American word, right? Because he's going to have to go to school, and you don't want him to be the kid at school who comes out with stupid words.
No, I understand. Oh, actually, I don't, but I can sort of empathize, I guess. But you'll also know, if you look carefully through this time-lapse, you'll see the entrance to the new area. I put some rocks. I channeled my inner S-Dan Wolf for this.
Yeah, somebody said that on the Discord. That made me laugh. Yeah, it looks very S-Dan Wolfy. Yeah.
Yeah. Why though? Something about the rocks and that's his aesthetic, or just the way he works with rocks and logs, and I don't know. I guess he's cornered the market on rocks and logs.
Rocks and logs, yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, to be fair, the first thing he did in Planet Zoo was like a grizzly bear exhibit, right? Mm-hmm. And you could have shown me that picture and said, "Guess who made this?" And I'd have guessed Stan. It definitely is a sort of a feel to his work.
Yeah. So trying to shore up the back end of tamaa here. And we talked about adding more of these statues. So I figured I had some room here, didn't know what to put. Trying to put some more gardens in Uzuri Gardens. And so just dressing up the area here with a little idea of a statue. And we give him a little gold scepter or whatever the piece is. Arm accessory or whatever.
I think
statue accessory.
Looks like a baby's rattle.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then this was hard because I know you have plans, so feel free to rip out anything that's in this area that you are not down with. But I had to find a way to transition into this new area.
Yeah, no, that's
and
cool.
And so a really simple alpine rock kind of border here rather than a hard curb.
Right, that's good.
Yeah, to give this idea of transition. And we had talked in the last episode about changing the terrain, and I went ahead and not in the time lapse, but after I had done all my time lapse, one of the last things I did was went in and played with the terrain. So now we do have a nice darker green grass for
okay.
this area.
So what did we lose for that then? Because you've only got the 8, right?
Well, actually, I forgot that the concrete was one of them. So I swapped out the really yucky yellow dry grass for dark green grass, but then all of our concrete was dark green grass. So I swapped out. We have 2 grasses. We have 3 grasses in this biome, and we've only been using one of them.
Right.
So I kept the one we've been using, swapped out one for concrete, and swapped out the other for a richer green. So,
okay. And it's not give us weird patches everywhere.
No, it actually blends really nice. So it works really well. So.
Oh, but I mean, there's not like patches of concrete somewhere else that's now green or anything like that.
Not that I noticed, because the one I originally changed. The one I changed to grass made the concrete turn to grass.
Right.
So then I just changed another one and went in and repainted everything. So hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, you'll see. So
now this is your sort of MO. This stuff, what you've been.
Oh yeah, right? I figured we would. I'd kind of get our foot in the door here and build something. Like, this is straight out of No Name Land. Like, this looks like it belongs in the roller coaster park. But I love this style. I love this aesthetic, and it's something that comes really naturally to me. So I decided, we had this open area here, wasn't sure what to do. Yeah. So we're going to throw in a little coffee shop. And actually, my thought was, we have one in No Name Landia. It's less rustic than this, but I was like, that's what I was thinking about as I was building it. So
cool.
I really like the way it turned out. It does function. It has a vending machine, because screw actual vendors, they're too big.
Right, yeah. They work the same,
So we use a
right?
vending machine. I think
and they
so.
work the same, yeah.
Would they I don't know, do they satisfy thirst differently?
No, I think it's the same. I think they just cost a little more to run, but you don't pay for the staff or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Who plays the game, right?
Yeah, my Legos don't have to function. It's fine. So but then this is going to be the final bit of the time lapse. There's lots of tidbits throughout the park that'll be easier to look at in real time. Just shoring up like bald patches and trying to make things look a little bit more complete. In addition to I added 2 new rides. I hope 2
rides. Wow.
2. Yeah. I hope you're not angry.
That's cool.
Yeah. No, they're good. They're fully. One of them is fully incorporated, and then the other one isn't. But it won't take very long, so I'm not overly concerned. Yeah. So why don't we go ahead and hop into the real-time portion and take a look at everything a bit slowed down. All right, so here we are at the front of the park, and you'll notice that the texture has changed on the path. Right, it's darker now.
Mm-hmm. That's fine though. Yeah. It looks a bit more like more like road,
asphalt. Yeah,
asphalt.
I mean, we can again, now that it's set, we can change it to whatever we want. But look at theirs. Does your coaster have a name yet?
Big ass dive coaster.
There you go. BADC, Bad C. Call it the Bad C.
Yeah. No, we haven't got a name yet, because obviously a lot of the other naming conventions we use through the park have been Swahili, but that doesn't really work for this. So I did start looking at some Native American languages.
Like Navajo?
Yeah, but nothing really, like every word I can think of, like drop, dive, swoop, nothing really makes a great word, from a stylistic point of view,
Right.
So still jury's out a little bit with that one. I might go something a bit more sort of generic-y, like eagle's wing or, something like that.
Sure.
But,
I think that'd be good.
Yeah.
So anyway, you can also see the hint of one of the new rides.
Ooh.
Underneath your lift hill there.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Ooh. But why don't we look what's in the foreground?
Yeah.
Well, sort of. This is our tram.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be our tram area here because our parking lot is way down there.
Away, yeah.
So I made these simple covers, and it doesn't go with the theme at all, but I'm kind of okay with that because
it looks cute. It looks a bit imperial, so that's like kind of fine. It looks a little bit like the British got here and built them. So that's where a lot of adventure theming comes from, right?
Okay.
That's
true.
British colonialism.
Yeah.
Colonialism, that's the word I was thinking of. There you go. It looks a little colonialism, so that's fine.
Yeah, I think so. So my idea is that the trams would come in, and based on what parking lot you're in, A, B, or C, you stand in that line, and then those trams can slide in, and you can load up. And then there's a roundabout here, and you head off to the parking lot, which is not done. All I got was the tram line here.
That's
and
good.
so this side will be for actual traffic, I guess.
And
then this side's just for the tram. So
awesome.
we won't go any farther down that way because there's nothing there.
But
yeah, little cones. This was the last little bit I did. I'm not sure about this wall. I kind of like how plain it is, but it's also really
maybe
plain.
just do with a top on it, maybe.
Because there's that one piece that has the nice little detail on it.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, let's head. Let's see. We'll start at the elephants because I actually did stuff there. So we'll take a look at what I did with the elephants.
Not that one.
No, not that one. I tried to use that one on a fountain, and he was just too big. I'll show you later. So here we go. Here's a look at what's cooking with this. Got to make something out of these.
Yeah, they're very placeholder, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Something. It could be something. Gift something or other.
Yeah, a little store or something.
Yeah. Here's a look more at now our fully enclosed, fully completed elephant.
Awesome
enclosure. Yeah, I like it. I think it just giving them something else to do makes it feel a little more real. So.
One thing I have noticed that I think if we did this over again, we would take it more into account the sort of zoo layouts. Elephants are often much further into the zoo because they're like a big ticket.
Really?
Animal, right? Yeah.
Ours are not too far from the entrance, actually.
Oh, really? I was saying that Chester Zoo, they're quite near the entrance as well, in fact. But 90% of the other ones I've seen, they're quite central or further in. Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. I've been loving it. I've been watching the Chester. We get that over here now, the new season.
Oh, the Chester Zoo one. Yeah, Chester Zoo's a great zoo.
I love that. Yeah. And the San Diego one's really good, too.
My only problem is I keep watching them and keep thinking, just stop showing me the zookeepers. Like all they ever show is the zookeepers or close-ups of the animals. And I'm like, just let's look, zoom out of it. Let's look at the whole thing.
So here we did a little bit. I actually gave it a name.
It's no longer better name here.
Good ride name here or better ride sign here. I mean, it's not that much better. I tried to incorporate the colors into the actual carousel. Try to do red line a bit more justice. Actually, small detail, but change the paths here.
Okay.
I like the flagstone. I think it looks really nice.
Yeah, I do.
Cleaned up this area now.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So now you can see.
This is a tricky thing because you had to try and transition from the African to the American foliage, right?
So what I tried to do is, you'll see there we've got some swamp plant trees, whatever they're called. I tried to use those a bit more, but it's still down here. It's still, elephant Africa.
Yeah.
And I don't think on the coaster you're going to notice that. So I was okay with it.
Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, it looks like a nice transition, I think.
And just more garden. Tons
well, like
of
you
plants.
say, it's what they're like in real life.
Yeah, and I also did here, too. We had this big open spot.
Oh, right, yeah.
I think it looks so much better as an actual planter.
Hey, hello.
So, yeah. Got more flowers cooking there. I'm happy with how this is coming together. And I made sure that none of the trees
we've still got that sort of sight line of the drop,
because I put a couple in, and they were hanging over the path a bit too much, and it blocked the view. So I made sure that it didn't do that. So, and then as far as cleanup goes over here, I just cleaned this area up a bit because it was just a blank area and it didn't make any sense at all. So just adding some rocks and plants to kind of make the area look a little bit more put together.
Yeah, it definitely looks finished. Yeah, that's a big big change.
That's what I was trying to do.
Changes. Yeah.
Yep. That's what's hard. That's why I wanted to have a lengthy time lapse because I knew this part was going to be, and I put some trees down over here. And I put some trees down over here,
That's it, yeah. It's just all the little bits that have to get done, right?
Right. But if you look.
Look at that.
And that's brand
top
new.
spin.
So I left this here because I know this is going to be our entrance to our big entrance to the safari area.
I think so, yeah.
But we had just this blank space here, and I had a hell of a time figuring out what to do. And I just figured a new ride here, and then just throw the plants around it, and then we can have a safari on the other side of those plants.
Yeah, just go for it. Yeah, no, that's good. And obviously, we sort of said that we would focus a little bit more on rides now.
That was another thing too. Yeah, and I think it completes this little area. Well, there's one more thing I got to show you before we get there to show you how the area is a little more complete. But yeah, I think more rides, especially back here where we're farther away from the animals, make sense. Through this little fountain.
That's new. Yeah, that's good.
Yep, because this ended up being a huge open area.
Looks a little phallic. Just
well,
gonna say.
I'll let you change it then. But I did do
that.
One
could
more
do
thing.
if there was room in front of that top spin. Some water fountains in front of that would be really good. You know, like where it looks
right
like they're
here.
about to hit you, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I showed my daughter ran in here, my 5-year-old, and she was like, "Is that water?"
I thought it was.
Yeah, I thought it was too, but it doesn't do anything. But
But
some
is
of these
it?
have water jets, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think it might meant to be.
Well, I
Water,
looked.
you
I tried
know?
to sequence it, and they don't give you the option. So I guess they
No.
just want you to put things.
You can
in
just
there.
put your own ones in there, yeah. Because
Yeah,
it looks,
but
it does look like it's meant to be water. I think,
And
especially
another
because of the
thing is-
loading.
Yeah, I don't know. And especially, all of our rides are spinning. We don't have any. Like I tried a drop tower, and they're just so big.
Yeah,
I
but
tried
I mean,
to get rides that weren't just spinning rides.
That's a bit of a fault of the game, really. Most of the flat rides in the game are spinning ones, really. So and maybe most of the flat rides in real life are as well. I don't know. Maybe
That's true.
you know. Maybe they just that's
No,
how it
that's a
is.
good point. Yeah, so I tried to pick ones that were, I guess, unique enough from what we've been having. But it's a tall task. But one more thing I want to show you.
Yeah. Oh, hey, look at this.
Uh-huh.
Wow, it's got a home.
Look familiar. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it back here. A nice little corner, a nice little end
awesome.
cap to our area, African area here. And I think it fits just fine. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was always a very sort of generic adventure theme, really. It maybe slightly leans towards Asian, but I think it doesn't look out of place.
No, I like it. And I tried my best to put the paths in as best I could.
Yeah, they're funky.
So it does function. They can get to the place.
To the two stores, yeah. Oh, that's the main thing then.
Yeah,
oh, good. Oh, glad we got that in. That's good.
Yeah, I wanted to be, and I felt bad because you built that in the first episode, and it's just been hanging out there for forever.
Yeah.
So we'll go take a look over here. Here's the statue that was in the time lapse. I added a bunch more handymen around too because all of our litter bins were just totally.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they were all overflowing. And then here's our simple photo ride.
Photo.
There you
place.
go.
I don't know, really.
Yeah, whatever. I can't think of it. So, but what I really like about this, and this is a silly little thing, how narrow the exit is. Like that's the exit to the ride, and it's so unassuming. Nobody would ever go up there.
And that's what they should be like, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's I'm like, I was really proud. I'm really happy with
good.
how that turned out. Yeah. And then you turn, and there's our entrance to our new area.
It's our Boulder Lake.
Mm-hmm. That is TMTK font.
Yeah.
So hope you have that installed. If not, you need to install.
I think it just tells you, right, when you load the park up.
Yeah. That's the one nice thing that they did with this is anything you don't have, you have the option to download it immediately. So. But you can see, I mean, even here, before we're technically in the area, the pines are coming forward.
Yeah, and that's what you want, right? You want it to sort of naturally, you don't necessarily want people to go, oh, look, all the trees are different here. You know, you want it to kind of flow through.
And I don't think it's too stark. Like, I included some ash trees and,
I
no
think that's what you need
palms
is
or
some
anything.
sort of, like, transitional ones, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe some sycamore and stuff that would transition well into the pine area. So, and then we walk through. And here's the little coffee shop that we were working on.
Yeah, that's cute.
It's really small.
Yeah, that's good.
But it works. It works. I like it. I'm happy with it. You got the overhanging roof, and
I think when there's other buildings around as well, it'll sit in a little better as well. Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna brag. I'm most happy with the little angled.
Yeah, that looks really good. Yeah, I just noticed that myself.
I'm most happy with that. Little details like that. So I got inspired, if you can't tell, with all the crap I've been doing. So And then our final ride here is, I think, the Raptors. That's what it's called?
God knows. I've never seen one of these in real life.
I have. We have one at Six Flags. We had one at the Six Flags Park in Chicago. They still have it. It's called the Condor. Yeah. I actually know. I've never been on it, but it's right by the entrance of the park, by where Superman is right now. So
okay, and it's one of those flat right. It's one of the few tower ones in the game that aren't ridiculously sized, right? So
well, you can control the size of it.
Yeah,
this is the one that came with Classic.
Yeah,
and so they by the time they gave us the last DLC, they decided to let us adjust the heights.
They figured it out. But even still, it's only like one of three, right? You can pick one of three heights or something.
No. Here.
You can just add
it's actually customizable. Yeah, if you go into it, I gotta test if I stop it, and there you go. I can. It's 38, 42. So what is it? Every 6 meters.
Oh, okay. That's neat.
Yeah. Now I forget what it was. I think it was here.
Yeah, it looks right.
Yeah, we were here. I think 32. So yeah, no, it actually is slightly customizable, which is always appreciated. So.
That's good. This means we'll get him for Blanco too, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of feels that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to recolor a wall. Don't look at it.
Right. Cancel the video. Let's forget this. Let's start again.
Fail. But I do still really love this. This is a really nice view.
Well, I got a lot of feedback on the last episode about the coaster and how I need to change this and change that and change. And
Did you really?
I guess people didn't hear me. Like, it ain't changing. It's good enough. Like, I know it's not right.
My only is the singular support up there. Yeah. Maybe having one more angle down.
Well, that's how it is. That's actually accurate to Yukon really? Striker. Yeah.
Just
support,
just
straight
pole.
Down. Yeah, from there.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Which I thought was pretty crazy, but that's how they did it. So there's precedent for that. It was more the angles of the Immelmans and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I know they're not right, but ain't nobody got time for that. You know?
No, I'm totally down with it. So let's jump out of the Tegid and just take a look at what we got. So here's a look at the overview of how this area is starting to shape up.
Oh yeah, that's looking good. Look at that.
Yeah. And I added myself a big old gate here for whatever. Maybe we can put some buildings back here
just to get really there.
Yeah. Got a floating tree now because of it.
Oh, look at that.
There we go. It's gone. You didn't see it. It's fine. Our parking lot, I put curbs all around it. Just kind of give it a hard edge. It makes it easier for me to figure out what's going to go where.
What we're doing, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're not feeling that, I can totally tackle the parking lot in the next.
I might have a go at that. Yeah, like I said before, that's not so bad because you can kind of do a block of it and then just sort of copy and paste. Right?
Yeah, that's how this came together so quick. It was make a couple pieces and then copy paste. Yeah. But you can see now just how throwing in some extra plants makes everything feel
just to cap off areas. Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, it just makes it all feel so much more complete. Like you got walls of green now to kind of separate the areas. And I like the way that looks. So
yeah, that's turned out nice.
Yeah. Oh, our transfer track yonder way. It's really blocked by trees.
Well, that's
people can still get. Yeah, they can still get to it. We got our little gate there.
Yeah, I noticed you put the gate in. That was a nice touch.
So how it would work, you could see here this little piece. I don't know. I don't think my mouse is working. It would slide. These pieces would slide over and allow the train to come in. Or they would back it up onto the track here, and you can fit two trains.
Get a couple on there. So does that need to be covered, or is it?
It's not a Millennium Force. It's not. Okay. I mean, it could be, but there's precedent for it to not.
They might just have to have a pile of towels somewhere to wipe it down. I guess
probably
heavy rain or whatever. Yeah,
more frequent repainting.
Yeah,
yeah. But and then you can see here, like I'm still stumped. With this curve right here, like this area here is still stumping me.
Yeah.
I guess just walls of trees.
Yeah, it's going to be a tricky one, that isn't it? Because I think originally we had the idea of maybe like a safari, like an outlook. You know, if you didn't want to, take
that's still possible.
Yeah, if you didn't want to take the safari truck or the train or whatever we ended up with, no truck, right?
Truck.
There was just like an outlook that you could come and stand up and actually see the animals that way. Because the safari truck itself would be an upsell most likely, right? So you kind of got to give people the free option,
to see those animals. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, man, you got a lot done, look.
Yeah. It didn't feel like it until I started getting ready to record. I was like, I I did do some things.
Yeah, man. You did.
So, yeah.
I don't know whether I showed off in the last one. I removed that restroom back again.
I saw that. We got to look at that. We didn't talk about it in the episode, but you redid this whole area, and look, I put the sign back. We needed that sign.
So. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
I threw some crap on top of it too to kind of make it look. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
good. But this
good.
looks so nice. This was a really nice little subtle change, but I think it makes
tied the end off there quite well.
I think so. Yeah. And you rotated the restroom, and did you copy it?
And I copied it over, because I thought I see this a lot actually. Restrooms with entrances either side.
Really?
You know? Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen a few where that's all open inside. So technically, you could walk through the restroom to get to the other side of the unit if you wanted to, but people don't necessarily. But yeah, I've seen that quite a lot actually. It's probably a little small for double. For double, but I thought it's fine.
And I did throw restrooms in there actually, so now they do function. Yeah, because there was nothing in there before, and then there's the phallic fountain. But what I love is, despite the phallic fountain, you could see your coaster. You can see this from anywhere in the park. I love it.
I can't get over how big it is. I think it's just because nothing else we have in the park is raised, you know.
Right.
But like I said before, it's 20 meters smaller than most in real life.
Right.
It's kind of crazy.
No, I think it's great. Even over here, like I was checking it out. Like you can see it from everywhere here.
Yeah. Look at that. Yeah. Just about wow.
Yeah, I love it. I love that though. It draws your eye, and you know where to go. So that's been my 5 days, 4 days.
It's crazy. You got a lot done.
I surprised myself. I thought for sure this was not going to happen. So, but yeah, now it's on to you, and I'm assuming you're going to keep working on the dive coaster area.
I think I might do a bit of both. I think I'm gonna try and cap off the sort of station and that green bit there in front of us.
Yeah.
But then I also need to start making a bit of a work on the safari, I think.
Okay.
So I'm going to try and have a go at both, actually, yeah.
Cool. Well, hopefully inspiration hits you the same way it did me. You get a lot done in the next bit.
I guess so, yeah. That's good.
Yeah. So that's going to be about it, unless you've got anything else major that you want
to... No, I think that's
look
it.
At
I think it's starting to wrap itself up quite nicely. I think this is getting wrapped up better than Pinewood is currently getting wrapped up.
I haven't finished your episode.
One of those ones where I want to start wrapping it up, but the more I play in it, the more I realise there still is to do, you know? Yeah, but I feel like we are getting somewhere with this.
Yeah, that's why I threw the extra rides in. I was like, we could, but I think it feels better to have these two in here.
Yeah.
And as long as I could get them done enough that I felt okay about handing it off to you like that. So, yeah, but... Awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing whatever it is you come up with. So
stuff.
Yeah, I guess that's going to do it for us. So you know what to do if you enjoyed, and be sure to subscribe to Jonty because you're not already. But
no, nobody subscribes to me.
No. So that's it for me. So have yourself a great day, great night, great whatever. We'll see you for the next Uzuri Gardens. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Talk to you later. Bye.